This is an M-rated game, so viewer discretion is advised. Devil's Third! Going into this, I had a lot of people telling me, you've got to play the Devil's Third. It is so bad. So when I finally got a copy of it, I was bracing for a horrible game. Imagine my shock when I kind of enjoyed it. For the first hour. It wasn't anything new, but it knew what it was. An insane romp where anything could happen. It kind of reminded me of House of the Dead Overkill. It had that level of insanity. If you don't know what that game is, I'll link up to it at the end of this video. However, this title gets old quick. It felt like it was taking story bits from all types of games. Every shooter out there for the level designs, and creature designs that look like Resident Evil rejected characters. The story is about a guy named Ivan who, while in prison, the government needs his help to stop something. I don't know. I think there was some kind of revenge plot somewhere in there. But when I started fighting experimented on people who became monsters, I kind of checked out of this game. It was just too stupid. I liked how you could hold two guns and a melee weapon. You can easily swap between them, so you can mix and match the weapons based on the way you play the game. I also liked how there was an auto lock-on feature if you press the button to do it. It made it much more fun to play for me, since I'm not that great at using the R stick to aim. The level designs themselves, while clever at first, it started to get into a rut of a long hallway fight, long corridor fight. It was great that there were cover items to hide behind, and those items would actually be destroyed over time. You couldn't just stay there and snipe enemies, so you still had to keep moving around. There are plenty of weapon reloads all around, not only in a huge box that you could find ammo for anything, but the enemies carried ammo as well, except when you got to the mutant sections. Then ammo becomes a rarity. Not that it matters too much, because it took way too many bullets to take down a mutant. You were better off just doing very, very repetitive melee fights against them. There were often mini bosses to fight in a level, which were good to break up the monotony. It would just have you like firing a big gun to take down troops, a truck, or even a tank. The bosses in each world really did come down to button mashing and just keep punching until they die. Or just dodge and punch or shooting, but it never impressed me, as they weren't that clever. In addition to the single-player game, there's also a 16-player online multiplayer one. I do not enjoy online shooters, mainly because I suck at them, and this one is no exception. There were some fun modes to play, but pretty much everyone was just beating up on me. And I do feel sorry for anyone who had me on their team, as I was really one of the only level 1s out there, with a bunch of high-level players. You can buy different guns with the money that you make off battles or when you log in, but some of the items you're going to need special currency called golden eggs to get these items. They'll give you some when you level up or by logging in, but they'd really rather have you buy them. That's right, microtransactions. It's $3.99 for 10 or up to $19.99 for 100, and that's just obnoxious. Sure, you can earn them, but why is this even here? It didn't feel like they added it to encourage people to level up their characters, but just to get more money out of people. There were a few modes to choose from. Now look at all these. Deathmatch, team deathmatch, something about chickens, and boxes. However, I found that only the deathmatch had any players. All the other modes were just empty, so I couldn't test those. But the deathmatch mode was just fine. I'm not a shooter guy, so I couldn't tell you if the maps were good or bad, but I had no problem maneuvering around them. Another thing I couldn't test was the Siege mode, since you had to be level 5 to unlock it. And 45 minutes playing the online mode, I was barely halfway to my goal of get to level 2. So that just wasn't happening. However, from what I've read, it's a mode where you put clans together and you build bases that you defend. And apparently it's a lot of fun. Devil's Third was okay. That's as nice a compliment as I can give it. The single player game had potential, but that quickly went off the rails, and it got kind of boring. Controls were good, and the online mode didn't have any noticeable lag. So what it comes down to is the single player kind of sucked, but the multiplayer was decent. So if you're going to buy this, only do it for the multiplayer. The maps weren't too big and they were easy enough to get around. However, if you're going to buy this, I'd wait till it's really on sale. I'd say no more than 20 bucks. And that's kind of being generous. Anyone else, I'd just say skip it. Well, that's my review of Devil's Third. Why don't you check out my last review of Freeze Me? Or you can check out my classic review of House of the Dead Overkill. Like always, you can follow me on Twitter at Wiiviewer, and I thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe.